and talk about how you can colorfully present your findings, let me share with you my experience. When I was studying at Harvard University, I often used two roundabout ways to overcome writing anxiety or the writing block. Specifically, whenever I encountered some writing difficulties, I would try to do two things instead of forcing myself to continue to write. One thing was to write the magic phrases list. In Chinese, it's called 妙笔库. It's the magic words or phrases that you use while writing, colorful. And the other thing was to try to look for someone to chat with about my paper or about what I think. Now, writing the magic phrase list allowed me to take the break time to do something useful for writing, such as writing down some expressive words or phrases, making special notes, and writing some good sentences which I think, or quotes which I want to use for later description or discussion. And it's like free writing, but with a focus. Finding someone to chat with helped me to clarify my thinking and to look at the same problem from different angles or perspectives. It often played a role of brainstorming in my rethinking about the content of writing. So in such a way, I did not waste any time while feeling anxious or stressed of writing. Instead, I would feel more inspired when I sat back at my desk to write again. Two things. I hope you can try this. I'm sure it will benefit you. Now, just give you some examples of what I did before, or what is called 神笔, or what I do for collecting 妙笔库. Let's just have some examples that I have. How to stress relevance of previous studies. You can say how many studies have been conducted, so on and so found that blah, blah, blah. Previous studies on blah, blah, blah have been rare and sporadic. Of the few studies that have been conducted, so on and so examine the impact or the relationship between X and Y and reported that blah, blah, blah. Recent studies by so on and so have demonstrated a link between blah, blah, blah. So on and so have provided a theoretical account of blah, blah, and so on and so have examined the impact of blah, blah, blah on something. This is what you use, commonly used for stress relevance of previous findings. Next, how do you make voice shifts in arguments? Okay, here are some of the commonly used phrases in introduction writing. For instance, so and so argued that blah, blah, blah. So and so in contrast argued that blah, blah, blah. Although so and so study examined or investigated blah, 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 it failed to address the relation between importance, blah, 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 or significant as so and so study or findings was, it did not attend to the effect of the relationship between blah, 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 or the impact of blah, blah, blah. Or in my belief, so and so theory could be consolidated by examining the effect of or the relationship between blah, blah, blah. And here is another set of examples for how to highlight and summarize your findings. You can say firstly, secondly, thirdly, and last but not the least, blah, blah, blah. It is interesting, intriguing, fulfilling to note that blah, blah, blah. And also equally interesting, intriguing, fulfilling to note is that blah, blah, blah. It is of special interest, importance to point out that blah, blah, blah. A significant or important finding of the present study is that blah, blah, blah. Our study improved or consolidated previous studies in that blah, blah, blah. It is hoped or expected that these findings will stimulate further studies in blah, blah, blah. And also some commonly used phrases for discussion section, like by implication the present findings, we may conclude that blah, 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 illustrated by present results, so-and-so did show an impact on blah, 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 and this may be attributed or explained by, okay, to account for further findings. The theory of blah, blah, blah may be used such that, or in such a way, our study hope to improve or consolidate previous studies on blah, 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 by showing that blah, blah, blah. All right. Are you tired of listening? At least I'm tired of talking. But I'm saying that develop a good habit. Because when you write, you need to collect this discipline-specific, colorful vocabulary, or the words, phrases that you commonly use. And you can never get this kind of phrases from translation, because it comes from the idiomatic usage or expressions of academic English writing. And I hope you'll do this, and I'm sure you'll benefit from it. And having said all of this, I finish today's talk. Thank you very much.